Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod. We have Felix Fangbo Tao with us today. Felix has a very cool background. So, been a software engineer at various places, including Microsoft, including Facebook, and now Meta. He's been the founding director of Neuro-Symbolic Lab at Alibaba Cloud, and now is co-founder and CEO at Mindverse AI. Really accomplished guy. We're gonna obviously talk about AI, cloud computers, and everything between nowadays. He's seeking the truth of the spiritual mind. So yeah, very interested in discussing this. This podcast is brought to you by podpire.com. If you want to start or scale your podcast, go to podpire.com. Felix, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Charles, for having me here. My name is Felix, and I have about 10 to 15 years experience of AI research, especially from, previously it's like narrow AI to now we call it artificial general intelligence. And I have founded a company called Mindverse, and I can introduce a little bit more about that maybe later. But this is company that trying to build a product, actually build a platform that we can help different businesses, different individuals be able to find, to create their own diverse AI for themselves. So we would be entering into a world where we are not always just using one super AI for everyone, but actually we can having different AIs representing different people. So we can bring the diversity of human society into the AI era. So that's basically what we do.
Right. And you worked at so many companies, big companies. What did you learn from working there before starting Mindverse AI?
Yeah, I think it's funny that people always think that AI is a very tech and science. So you should, probably the best research is in the colleges, universities. But the fact is, going to these big companies like Facebook, Alibaba, and Google, you are actually in the front line of AI research. So the most thing that does to me is to really get to know what's the real questions we need to solve in AI and how can we leverage like large amount of computing and data to solve this. I think that's how we get today, and that's also prepare me to start this company.
Tell us about the Neuro-Symbolic Lab at Alibaba Cloud.
Yeah. So we founded this Neuro-Symbolic Lab around 4 years ago when there's a new quite big news in the AI space called GPT-3 comes out. I think GPT-3 is probably the first model that let people feel like it is a general model, a model that can think on different topics and can solve different questions. But people are not sure how to use it. So I feel like with these foundation models, we can build a new kind of interface. And this new kind of interface not only using like large language models, AI models to do like neural computing, but can would also be leveraging people's like symbolic computing. So they would be able to reason and they would be able to interact with the environment. And so we set up this new lab called the Neuro-Symbolic Lab. Is basically trying to bring neural networks with like symbolic systems. And the AI would be able to act like a person, to have memories, and to be able to engage in the real world and to make some impact. So that's what we do. And we did some research for 2 years there, and until ChatGPT comes out, we feel like, okay, it's time. We should make it work and really make it a business. Yeah.
Right. And do you feel that to achieve AGI, we need some form of physicality, or it can be purely achieved in the cloud?
Wow, good question. I think that people have different definitions of AGI. So if you are saying that AGI can reason on general problems and get a very good solution, I don't think we need like you say, physicality, or we call it in AI research, embodied AI. But if we really want them to having a world model like human beings, like know how the world actually operates, they actually need to have a body. so they can be able to perceive the signals and understand how the world runs through their like own interaction with their physicality. So that's another layer, another level of AGI.
And let's talk about, yeah, your definition of AGI, because me personally, I feel that it's been somewhat achieved with GPT-4. Claude's Opus 3 is hyper impressive. Even Gemini's last deployment was really good. So, what is your definition of AGI? Do you feel we've achieved it up to this day?
Mm, yeah, that's a very tricky issue in AI. I don't think people have people are now even start to abandon the term AGI because it's too vague. And to me, it's not there yet. So to me, there are a couple of things very important for AGI. Is the first thing is the way that it can reason and solve problems with any given context. And that's probably already achieved by GPT-4 alike models. And the second thing is I think they would be able to having like their own like autonomy system that they can do long inference. They would be able to have their own goals. They can decide on what to do, what not to do. So it's more like a self, a digital self, embedded in the system. So it's not there yet. And third thing, as you just said, they would be able to really impact the real world. It's not just being like a digital version of that and just calling APIs. I really want them to build like physical relationships with other beings like human beings. So uh having this all like mature enough can probably to me it's AGI, but not yet there.
Right. Now, tell me, what are you building at Mindverse AI?
Yeah, so you can tell from the name Mindverse. So we are not trying to build a super AI. What we try to do is build an AI society with everyone, every business having their own AI, and these AIs can be in talk with each other. So to deliver info services and information. So the key point, the key project we do here is how can we, because we all know like GPT-4 models like GPT-4, they knows a lot about the world, right? But they actually knows very little about you. And the whole behavior of them solving problems is by the average of like the other people. And what we want to do is build a system where you can engage with the AI, but this AI would be able to gradually learn who you are and trying to be act like you, so it can be like your digital identity. And the business is the same. Like they can train an AI to be acting like how they want their ambassadors to be. So I envisioned a world where everyone is not connecting to one single super AI, but having their own AI representatives to talk to each other. And this way, it's not only the AI can serve you better because it's personalized, but also everyone would be able to have the ownership of their AI. It's not just delegating their data to some centralized company, but we want everyone to have their own AI. And yeah, that's basically what we try to do here.
Love it. Have you heard about Dan Siroker's Rewind.AI, and what do you think about it?
I think that's a very like interesting experiment to me. I really like the idea in two ways, but I think the experiment might fail. uh, the reason why I like it because it it I think the nature of AI era, AI time is you would be able to have a system to coexist with you, would be able to capture all the like all of your life experiences with you together, and the way how you engage, interact with the captured the system is to using like a natural language, like or voice. I think the Rewind AI is doing a pretty good job here. But the reason why I don't think it's gonna be successful this time is it's not only about technology, it's also about how people feel it's time to use such a system. And I think the world is not ready yet. And so people may have a lot of concerns about privacy, and the underneath foundation model is not good enough and can have a lot of hallucinations. So it takes time to truly get ready, society level and the technology level.
Right. I am very bullish on virtual avatars. I'm even building a pod twin company. I run various podcasts, and I'd love to have my pod twin interact with Felix's pod twin before we actually meet physically, right? See if we're a good fit. There are problems with that. I get concerns from people when I mention that I'm bullish on that. They're like, "Oh, where's the authenticity and all of that?" Um, but I tell them like, what is authenticity? We live in a world nowadays in which 90% humans are not authentic. But even that apart, I think it's about being efficient first and seeing if my human time can be spent with another human after
Hmm.
we're seeing that we're fit. It's also a great way to have people that disagree with each other, let's say, to have a conversation like we've seen Joe Rogan and Donald Trump AI podcast together. These two didn't want to meet, but a fan made the podcast happen with AI. So I think that's interesting. What would be the opportunities and the challenges with Mind OS?
Uh, the opportunity is very simple. I think first of all, like you said, building AI to be super personal is gonna be like much more attractive than building AI that's just gonna be the same for everyone, right? So that's one thing. And also another thing is I think everyone, no matter he is doing AI or not doing AI, they are always trying a little bit anxious about how they can be involved in this new wave of technology. And I think the opportunity of MindOS is we can give them an outlet. We can give them a channel for them to create or to be involved, to have their own representation in this uh, revolution, I would say. And but the challenges is also very clear. One is business wise, how fast the world is gonna take on this thing and truly involve it in their daily life. I think it's getting. To be honest, I think we have very high expectations when ChatGPT comes out. But now you gradually to see that the adoption rate is not growing that fast, and we still have a lot of things to do, not only technology, but also how can you let people trust it? And trust issue, privacy issue. I think the older traditional way, traditional system of protecting people's data and privacy is not working anymore because AI is so deep in your life, deep in your mind, and it takes a lot more to build the trust. Yeah.
I
So
fully agree with that. And a lot
yeah.
of people would be like, they wouldn't even think about these things. I feel most humans are scared and they don't want to think deeply about these things. They want to think that GDPR is effective or that
Hmm.
canned spam or whatever. But technology needs to be fought with technology if you want to protect people, in my opinion, not with laws.
Hmm.
And yeah, I fully agree. Um, and I mean that's quite hypothetical, but let's say that an AGI exists. I wouldn't be surprised if that AGI could go back through time and
Hmm.
analyze any single pieces of data existing on this planet Earth. So privacy is really this vain concept, in my opinion, when you think in the future. Now, mindos.com, I'm seeing the website here. You have 30,000 users. Seems that you acquired most of these on Product Hunt, right? Is that your main growth strategy right now?
Yeah, Product Hunt is one big channel, and we also do SEO, and we also operate on X. So these are the major channels we have our users come to our platform. Yeah.
And is it product led growth type of strategy? Like, what are your top goals this year?
Yeah, PLG is definitely our major approach. Yeah.
What is your focus as the CEO this year?
SEO, you mean?
CEO, you like
Oh,
Felix, the founder and
yeah.
CEO. Yeah, like what is your focus this year?
I think it's still for this year, I think it's still about how we can define a real good like AI native product or AI native platforms. And because as you can see, there's not a lot of opportunities out there that you can just build a totally revolutionary product and change everyone's life. It's very, very hard. So, but still, you need to find the ways that people are already using like other technologies to fulfill, but to find the 10 times better moment of using AI to do it. So even I say we build AI identity, these identities needs to be truly working and helping people's life, right? And that's most important thing. Another thing is PLG to me to PLG is still pretty new. So I need to learn what's the most efficient and useful way of running campaigns on X, and how can we in the product, how can we build features that people are we really feeling this aha moment of these kind of details. But overall, I think it's about how we can leverage the power of AI and finding a, a value that can truly impact people's life to define the product in an AI native way. Yeah.
What do you think about two of your former companies, how they're building with AI, Meta and Alibaba?
Uh, I think Meta is taking a very interesting approach. So I think basically they are doing two things. One is a foundation model layer, and they are doing it in an open source way. And we all know the Llama model is probably the best, or at least the most impactful open source large language models right now. And the second thing they do is actually, I feel they are going through the AI social route, and because they have a lot of social graph data, and it's really for them it's quite easy to build like AIs on top of their like social data, and it feels to me they're working on it. So that's interesting. Alibaba is a different story because I worked for Alibaba Cloud before, and for them it's like NVIDIA or like AWS, because as long as you use more AI, you need more computing. When you need more computing, you need to have like infra companies of cloud computing to support this. So what they do is they invest in different kind of AI companies and trade for their computing on their platform. And application is probably not their top priority. Yeah.
Philosophical questions for you. What would a word with full memory be looking like? Do you think we're made to remember everything, or would that actually destroy the world? Let's say that I would remember that time that my wife wronged me like 5 years ago, and every time she wronged me, and I didn't let it out of my memory. Like, wouldn't that be a bit toxic?
Uh, I believe so. Yeah. Especially given the examples you give. Uh, yeah, I think people forget to protect themselves and also to compress information, so we don't have like all these like self-conflicting informations in our mind. So we can have a clear like map of memory, like coherent to each other. But the case is if I think the real question is, because AI has like infinite bandwidth of memory, should we make them like remember everything, or should we also do like a forgetting mechanism for them?
Yeah, because I mean, to me, if I would answer that question, I think that, yeah, like as we take all the data and then we make stats, nothing should ever be forgotten, you know? Maybe some stuff should be forgiven, but I think these are human concepts. Um, it's an interesting philosophical conversation anyhow. What do you foresee happening in the AI world for this year? Like last year, we've seen a bunch of cool things happen. This
Mhm.
year, what is your top three AI prediction?
Uh, wow. First of all, I think GPT-5 is gonna come out, and it's gonna be huge, and in a way that it's just gonna make it so autonomous and so powerful in reasoning. And I think that's gonna be the first model that uh, going to be like performing better on reasoning than a regular person. And that's actually a quite important milestone. And that's one thing. The second thing is I think it's also about OpenAI. So they have released the SARA, but has maybe the experimental version, but not the real production version. So the SARA is also going to come out. So to me, the point of SARA is not we can generate videos, but we can actually having the first model that can relatively model the physical world good enough and understand the maybe the 3D structures and how the physical world runs in the first time in human history. And my guess is after they release SARA, they would try to combine the GPT series with SARA. So GPT is not only going to generate text, but also trying to generate like multi-dimensional data in the future. So that's maybe next year or the year after. But it's the release, the production release of SARA is gonna pave the way for this merge. And the third thing is, I don't know. I think uh maybe some company like us would come out say, I can truly build AI for everybody, like super personalized and super good at memory and super relevant to people's life. And there would be such an app or a system going very popular in this year.
Well, thanks for these predictions, Felix. Where can people find out more about you?
About me, yeah, uh, first the website for our company is mindos.com, so you can check on the products. And I have LinkedIn and X, Felix Tao. You guys can follow. Yeah.